What's going on, everyone? This is Sheets, and again, we're going to do this kind of multi-stream approach. Just have the time to do it. Um, Today, we're going to just deal with the Saturday NFL DFS slate. It starts at about 4:30, and it's still 2.5 hours from now. And unfortunately, there is one bit of news that we don't have yet that is going to be, well, there's probably a lot of bits of news we don't have yet. But specifically for the first game, we're just going to have to wait to really finalize stuff until we know what's going to go on with Kamani Vidal, running back for the Chargers. His availability or lack thereof is really going to determine what we do as far as running back and showdown and classic slate and all of it. Um, Obviously, if he is out, Hampton is going to have most, if not all, of the work, and if Vidal is in, then it's going to be more of a split. I currently have projections of Hampton at about 13 and Vidal at about 6 myself. So I guess it maybe won't affect it that much, but enough on a 2-game slate where we are going to have to wait to see what we're going to do here. It seems to me to be a very low scoring-ish type slate in large part because of the absence of the quarterbacks in the last game. I mean, you have both. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, unless something has changed, I mean, you're going to have, instead of Lamar Jackson versus Jordan Love, you're going to have Malik Willis versus Tyler Huntley, and that's just going to make for an uglier slate, you know. Um, the other thing it's probably going to make for are constructions with a lot of money being left on the table, not on purpose. Just these quarterbacks are so cheap that, and there are just so few options as far as skill guys that are that expensive that you would need, that you could just get to them without spending your whole salary. Um, so that's the thing that I guess that's the thing I'd like to not say leave you with, but at least start you with, is that do not make yourself play any amount of salary really. Like for me, I would go my min salary to like zero, like 40,000 or something like that, um, and not even worry at all about what my lineups look like. Um, the other thing I've been hearing is that why would they really need to play Derrick Henry or want to play Derrick Henry? I mean, they're still alive to win the division. It's not going to be easy, but I mean, I still think that they're live, right? So why wouldn't they play him? I guess the only thing I would say is that it would be nice if they decided to play him, that they would use him in the fourth quarter when he was having a great game, like they didn't do last week. The other thing that I would say you have to wait on is this Christian Watson news, whether he plays or not. And I guess the good news is that, I mean, if he's out, it's not as if, oh, now we can clearly play XYZ from Green Bay. I obviously Romeo Dobbs is going to look good. I think regardless, Jaden Reed will look good regardless. They just spread the ball out so much that it's not as if one Watson being out is really going to make like Jaden Reed like a lock, for example. Not to mention the fact that I really don't think they're going to put the ball in Malik Willis's hands unless they really need to. I mean, they're going to probably try to pound the rock with Josh Jacobs. I mean, doesn't that make sense? So that would, I guess, be my first thing, is that I would think that Josh Jacobs would be probably the easiest play on the board. And, Derrick Henry, too. I mean, they're going to start with him. With Marion Hampton, we just have to wait. But I mean, I guess even so, I mean, he's going to be a good player. Woody Marks. I mean, this is why you're getting like 1,000,000% of all these guys. You know, they're all four of them are solid. Woody Marks, top guy at his team. Josh Jacobs, top guy in his team. O'Marion Hampton, probably top guy in his team. Derrick Henry, top guy in his team. So, question is going to be: do you play any of these other guys, like any Emmanuel Wilsons or Keaton Mitchells or Commander Vidal if he plays? That is definitely a decision that you're going to have to make. Daniel Pope is saying, do you X out anyone who rules for this slate? No, I don't think I'm going to. I'm just going to let Saberson kind of do its thing. I have projections for like all these guys. Like I have projection for a Chubb, for a Jawar Jordan. I have 3 points for him, Emmanuel Wilson. So these guys could end up in lineups. You know, Rashid Ali, Chris Brooks, like all these dudes are you never know. And maybe Abu Nuali comes on in and gets there. So let's see what we have here. So AFC Angelo has some information. It says excluding sacks and scrambles, Baltimore went 15 rushes, 9 passes with 100. And you would think that that's what they would have done, you know, and it just makes sense. Now they have a week to prepare now, but I mean, Green Bay's got a tough defense. You know, I don't know. I don't know how teams are going to score in that game. I mean, honestly, I guess I would say that Green Bay is more live to score because at least Malik Willis looked pretty good against Chicago. So I don't know. Weird that a Houston game might end up being the highest projected offense. But you know what? Like Collins is such a good play, like always. So Collins, the Chargers wide receivers are a little bit spread out here, I guess, between McConkey and Johnston, Trey Harris and Keenan Allen. I would probably want to get more of Trey Allen here. Yes, JPA, only through TrueDFS, and maybe not even. Like sometimes I don't even put him on TrueDFS. It just depends on whether I'm playing in my mood or whatever. Sometimes I just forget. So we're just looking at mine for now. But yeah. So this is what I'm going to do, I guess. Let's build. We'll do 2 sets of builds here. One, we'll use the Saberson projections, and then we'll use mine. And again, this is just as of now. And we'll answer some of your questions about what type of rules I would probably use here. And I really think that it's Oli N free. I think that you could play any type of stack you want, QB +4, anything. I think you can play defenses against your quarterbacks, no problem. I think you can play multiple running backs from both teams. I think that everything is open. So I would not, in this slate, make any changes to the construction. Okay? So let's just do like as pure as it can be. Okay, well, sort of as pure as it can be. We are going to be using my lineups, my contests as the template here. So like, for example, you're going to see that I'm playing the Saturday special, 150 in that, and playing one in the field general. And the reason I mention is I'm using Saberson's portfolio diversification tool. So it's gonna put these exposures in for me based on what I'm playing. And it's very important that everybody realize this. Like, and this is why it's not a big deal for me to kind of roll through this and show you what these lineups are, because it's almost impossible for you to get the same lineups I get unless you're playing the exact same contests. You know what I mean? The exact same amount of lineups in each one. And even still, it's no guarantee that you get the same lineups because the simulations have a degree of randomness to them too. So, but I'm just curious to see what we're going to get here. And again, we're just going with what Saberson believes now. We have no update on the Hampton Vidal situation, at least as far as I can tell. No update on the Christian Watson situation, but that should be coming in, 3 p.m. Eastern, at least the Vidal thing. I am not imagining that we get the Green Bay news before the Charger game happens. Okay, AFC Angel, more good information here. Henry's rush prop is 74.5. Zay Flowers reception 52.5. He has a difficult time with Zay's expected high ownership. Henry's question for me is, does he break 100? If so, he is optimal. Yes, I agree with that. I think that if he does break 100, he's probably optimal. Again, it's all a matter of probabilities, but I do think that Jacobs, I really do think that Jacobs could outscore Henry. But wait a minute, how about in games where Henry is optimal though? Like in games where Henry does get 100, can Jacobs get 100 too? Probably not, right? So maybe you're right. Maybe if Henry gets a big game like that, he's optimal. I think that's fair. Okay, so let's see what we end up getting here. I think probably the safest, I don't say the safest play, but I mean, Collins is probably going to get points. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to think of like who's safe to get points aside from the running backs. Collins, I mean, he always gets points. I mean, I guess Keenan Allen's going to probably get at least a couple. I mean, I'm just talking about floor here for a minute. I don't know if Keenan Allen's got much of a ceiling in this matchup. I don't think anybody's got a big ceiling in a matchup against Houston, honestly. So we did the Sims, and we'll take a look at the exposures here. And as I mentioned, let's save these all. 76% Hampton, 72% Collins. So now we're back to the Zay Flowers thing, and I have to say, AFC, I agree with you here. I'm not a big fan of a 67% owned receiver against Green Bay's defense being thrown to by Tyler Huntley. I agree with that, with your assessment of that, and I very well might. I mean, at the very least, I might late swap out of this. You know, if I feel like it. I think that makes some sense. I mean, to me, I would much rather, obviously 1,000 more, but I would much rather have Collins than Zay Flowers here. So that's a good look, AFC. That makes a lot of sense. So we'll remember this, right? So 75% Hampton, 72% Collins, 76% Flowers, 66% Henry, 64% Jacobs. Now, let me take a look just for fun, like what if we used my projections and see if there's any real difference. I don't think, I mean, there should be. Let's see. Can't see Harbaugh allowing Hundley to try to pick apart the Green Bay defense. I literally cannot dispute anything that you're saying right now, AFC. This is all very, very good info. I mean, what you could have is Hundley, scrambling. And the fact is, I mean, if they are down, then they're going to have to pass. They have no choice. I mean, they're playing for their tournament lives, right? I mean, they do have to win, I believe, unless they're counting on. Yeah, I think they have to win. I'm not sure. So they're going to have to. I mean, they're going to have to do something. I think that the guy I would probably want first is actually not Flowers. It would probably be Andrews. Just because it's just kind of easier to find him. You know what I mean? Like, it's easier to find like the tight ends out there than the Zay Flowers is trying to run through the Green Bay defensive backs. So I'm going to be very curious to see the difference in exposures between my projections and the Saber Sims. I just don't think there's going to be too big of a difference, but we'll see. So you see, by the way, like if you want to compare, like if you ever upload your own projections and you want to compare them to Saber Sims, it'll give you this kind of a color-coded view. Like if you're higher, then you'll be green, and if you're lower, then you'll be red. Like here's one. I think I'm much lower on Vidal than SaberSim is. That could impact that, and I'm higher on SaberSim than on Collins and on Herbert for that matter. So we shall see about that. Ownerships are very similar. Boy, Nico Collins 75% owned. But wide receivers being 75% owned is rough business, isn't it? CJ Stroud only 23. Schultz. Oh, we have a season long question. I don't know. Schultz, Strange, or Loveland. Half people. You're in the wrong spot, bro. Listen to me saying bro like I'm like. Just scratch that. I don't know. Sorry, I don't keep the half people. I can look at the FanDuel projections. You know what? I'll do that for you just for the hell of it. But let's just do this first. I don't have the full Thursday to Monday projections though, but I'll look. I'll look at FanDuel because that's half PPR, and I will look that up for you just for the hell of it. After we take a look and see what my custom projections get me relative to what SaberSim projections got me on DraftKings. And again, it's silly to do my showdown stuff yet because again. So now we have 86% here, 75% here. Yeah, look at that. The marks I'm getting very, very little of, huh? Well, here I'm getting 42%. Yeah, this does seem low, doesn't it? Oh, what, 11% marks? What does that mean? What I'm getting or what the projection is? Yeah, right here I'm getting 42. These are the point projections. Yeah, Andrew. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, YSN. Flowers, and again, all this of this guy, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get different here. Just got to hope that you have low salaried things or something like that. So there's that. We're going to look at FanDuel for a second. What is this? Walking Q tags. I want to go over on every backup or RB2. Yeah, that's not a problem. Let's take a look just for the hell of it. Just for this dude, just because it's such a random question to come in here. Let's look at the FanDuel because that's half PPR, and then we'll get back to the FanDuel DFS slate. Sorry about this, but add slate. We're going to look at FanDuel. Is there a 14 game thing here? Yeah, 16 Thursday to Monday. So what is he looking for? Schultz, Strange, or Loveland? Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to tell you what SaberSim has simmed out, and then you can just kind of decide what to do on your own. So let's just see. So who do we have? So Schultz is 7.87. Strange is 8.4. And Loveland is 7.69. So it is the second guy. Strange. That would be my very scientific answer. Okay, let's look. You want to look at FanDuel? Yeah, may as well. We'll look at FanDuel for today. Not Jacobs as much because, yeah, Jacobs has had his injury issues too, sir. You know, he was lucky to get on the field, and then they didn't play him in the fourth quarter. All right, so let's pull up. This is a FanDuel one. So let's see if let's just see if there's any difference. I guess. Thanks, Zix. No problem. Hope it wins. Oh, this is the Super Bowl, I guess, right? This guy. I mean, I imagine this in the last week for you. Hope you take that down. And again, if anybody here plays the best ball stuff, good luck on all that. If you guys are in the finals of anything, it's just something I just never. I won't say never played. I never really tried to learn how to do it right. so I don't really put any volume into it. I played a couple of playoff ones this year just to kind of donate. I just kind of figured out, I started playing this was my system for best ball in the playoffs. I picked the best available for like the first 2 picks, and then just whatever was available to me that I could stack, I just played and just tried to get like a Super Bowl matchup together. So like there was one best ball playoff draft where I ended up like all the Buffaloes, all the Jacksonvilles with all the San Francisco's, was it, or something like that? Just some combination of an AFC team and an NFC team that projected well that I can stack, and hopefully they both make it to the Super Bowl. Makes sense, I guess. But again, there are people that really put a lot of work into the best ball stuff. So I'm probably drawing extraordinarily dead there, but maybe next year I'll learn how to play it properly. Just don't get it. I just don't get the sweat. I mean, you draft once. And I guess you draft once at the beginning of the year, and then you just sweat every week, I guess. But it's such a long road. It's a long road to get there. That's why I like the DFS. One day, and after one quarter, you're dead. As opposed to like getting the false hope for the whole season. I don't know. All right, so we're almost there. It's really like slowing up here, the Saber Sim, huh? For those that are going to watch, like tomorrow, for those that didn't know, tomorrow at 11, we're going to do the Sunday main slate. It's really just a couple of teams that are dominating, as far as I'm concerned. The best play category. I mean, all these cheap Raiders are going to look good. All the Jacksonville guys, the Bengals, Arizona, those are really the teams. Everybody else is just trying to be, you're just trying to get different by playing anybody else. I did play the soccer today. I did not do well in the soccer. I did have a big NBA day on Christmas. So that was fun. All right, here we go. Now, needless to say, make sure that you late swap, after you lock your stuff in at 4:30. You have all day. I mean, you have a full half hour between games probably, so there's no excuse to not take a look at your lineups and see if you need to late swap either using the software or by hand. Almost there. Boy, Saber Sim is slow. That's the thing. You get so much functionality. Gets a little nasty. Okay, so now we have Hampton 80, Dalton Schultz, and Woody Marks. So this is a big difference actually on FanDuel. You're getting more of the Schultz than on than DraftKings. I agree with you. I'm ready for MMA to be back also. So that is one difference here is the Dalton Schultz. So more of the Houston guys in general. I mean, actually that's not true. Like these Green Bay guys look good here as well. And then I guess the last thing, I may as well just do the same builds with my own projections. And then we'll rebuild and see what we'd be getting. As far as other sports today, there's a NBA tonight, but the slate's a little small. I'm not going to be playing it because I am actually going out to dinner tonight. And as I've stressed, if you're not going to be around for the entirety of the NBA slate, it's just really not worth playing. I shouldn't say that. I mean, maybe it's worth playing, but you're certainly not going to be playing your best. That's for sure. What else can we discuss while this is going on? Not a lot. So again, for those of you who are not going to be here tomorrow, it's going to be cheap Raiders, it's going to be Bengals, it's going to be Jacksonville, and it's going to be Arizona. Those are the main teams. Yeah, Bobby's good. He's just on vacation, not vacation. He's visiting family for the holidays, and he's kind of he's in a bad connection. So it's a little But he says he'll be in here tomorrow, so that's good. I do think that that both of these games, specifically the Green Bay game, if you play the showdown, I mean, I just don't see the offenses here. I mean, I think there's Henry and I think there's Josh Jacobs and everybody else is rough. I think it's kickers and defenses and grossness. That would be the way I would play it. All right, so let's see the difference. Let's see if I'm getting all these Schultz with these my projections. And again, I am just going to have to redo all these probably in about 35 minutes because that's when I'm going to get the Hampton news. Let's just take a look. You see it's diversifying my lineups, again, particular to my own contest selection. So again, even if you ran my exact same projection using the exact same sims, you're not necessarily going to get the same, even close to the same lineups because I'm using different contests. So same thing, Hampton, Schultz, etc. All right, again, short slate. What to say? Would you rule these non-Baltimore sub to only show up with their QBs? Disley, Stover, Lambert, Smith. Actually, no. I would not do that, AFC. I would do like sort of the opposite. Like for me, like those cheapos, I mean, the way I think about it is that it could be a low-scoring slate. I mean, you get one of these guys can get like 3 for 30 and no touchdowns and still get there. You know, so I think it's going to be a very low-scoring slate in general. So I would not necessarily rule them with the quarterbacks. You don't have that portfolio diversity tool. How many min uniques would you use for today? I would do 2 for today. That would be my just in didn't like run all this to confirm that, but I would use 2 if you did not have the portfolio diversification tool. All right, that's going to do it, everybody. Good luck today, and